Gaming.
Hello and welcome to Intoxicus Gaming. Today is February the 24th, 2020, and today's topic is all about this Activision craziness where they're going after a Reddit user to get their identity over some leaks about the whole Call of Duty Modern Warfare Warzone Battle Royale craziness. So, if you don't know, we'll jump right into the articles here. If you don't know, there's been a big leak where the Call of Duty Warzone Battle Royale mode has been leaked. But it's all coming from, and this is important to remember, all this specific leak data appears to be coming from content and data within a publicly available build and release of the game, which really matters, and we'll touch on that more as we go along. But first, as always, we should start with giving you some context and history. As you can see by this IGN article by Andrew Smith, around December 21st, not exactly, Call of Duty Modern Warfare had a glitch that let players check out this Battle Royale map. Didn't know it was called Warzone or anything. Dude who figured it out, or at least made it public, was named King Breezer on Reddit. Originally reported by Eurogamer, apparently. Not too much there other than just establishing a timeline and also establishing how long this has been out for. And now, or at least last week or so, well, more like 2 weeks ago actually, February 12th, more information came out that it's Battle Royale map, and perhaps that it's called Warzone. There's some data mining and stuff. Apparently this is the instructions to trigger the glitch if you want to do that yourself. The links are going to be in the description so you can check it out. A bunch of the stuff, Season 2 has been leaked, but I imagine they're connected. I'm not big into Call of Duty personally. I did play the single player, just not big into the multiplayer. So just to give a little bit of history before we jump back onto the topic, this has become an ongoing thing. The earliest I remember this being reported is with Subpoena, who 2K/Take-Two went after him over Borderlands 3 leaks, except these were leaks. Someone else leaked, and he was just spreading the information. Lots of other people had been, but he was not the source of the leaks. He was just someone who spread information that was already out. He was reporting on already available information someone else had leaked. But they figured they'd send private investigators to shake him down, shut down his channel with abuse of copyright strikes and all that. So he's basically had his channel shut down, and what they've done, I believe, is unethical. It might have been legal, at least some of it. Ethical, definitely not. And I feel like that might have started a bit of a trend. Bit out of order here, but this is important to notice as we move along. Is out of order, I know, please bear with me. So because of this previous issue with the Redditor who leaked some Jehovah's Witness information, public and internal documents from the Watchtower Bible and Tract Society. If you don't know, the Watchtower is like a Jehovah's Witness thing. If you see like Watchtower pamphlets and stuff, that's all Jehovah's Witness stuff. It's a common thing. I'm not sure what the deal is behind it. I don't know much about them. I've just observed it's a common thing with Jehovah's Witnesses where they've got stuff titled Watchtower and that kind of thing. I'm not sure what's behind it. Anyways, that's not even the point. So, because of the EFF, the Electronic Frontier Foundation, they helped him, and almost certainly because of his help, his identity was protected from being revealed, which is good. And this was a copyright case, which is important to know. So, I know that I made a mistake. That should have been in order. So back to Subpoena. This is good to check out. It's just good to check out this link yourself if you want to go that far. Lots of info here that we're not going to get into. But overall, they also shut down his Discord too. I forgot about that. Supposedly for selling cheats, hacked or cracked accounts, which is just crap. But But the whole point of the Submoto thing is how hard they leaned on him and other entities to get everything related to him shut down because they got mad about him leaking. But other entities didn't get this attention he got. Like, the lack of congruence and consistency is also concerning. So Epic's been at it with Fortnite Chapter 2 leakers. I'm not into Fortnite much, just going over it just to put some history and context on this all, and just to reinforce that this has become a thing that they're doing, probably because of the Submoto thing where they kind of got away with it. So we can expect more of this too, I would say. Anyways, back to the specific topic we're talking about. The whole point of that is just to give you some perspective and context that this is an ongoing thing. This is not the first time. And it's getting concerning that this is becoming a thing because it feels like they're abusing the DMCA just to shut people down when they're not happy about them, even if ethically there's nothing they should be mad about. Legally, I'm not sure. I'm no lawyer. I would hope Legal Eagle, he's a great channel, covers video game stuff and occasionally has actually a course for content creators. I do want to look more into that. But yeah, it's a course to help us navigate stuff like DMCA claims and stuff like that. So I imagine he'd know some stuff to be able to really comment on the legal aspects. I'd only say, even if what they're doing is legal, it's certainly unethical. My apologies for the random sound there. And it's a very disturbing trend, especially when in this instance, everything came from a publicly available build. Everything was data mined or found with glitches within the build they released to us paying customers. Which, like, it makes me want to say, if you guys don't want this stuff getting out there, do not put it in publicly available builds. It seems pretty simple. And there's a difference between having something under lock and key and having something just like there, but to try and use some parallels. So there's a whole thing where your garbage is considered public under certain circumstances. There are specific circumstances where your garbage isn't so public. There are circumstances, but it would be roughly, this might not be the best example either. I think, and I could be corrected by a lawyer and be totally wrong, but from what I do understand, leaving the data in a publicly available build that people have paid for, it's like leaving garbage out on the street, but having like something over top of it. So having the thing you're looking for buried deep in the garbage. So, it's there. You just got to put time and effort into finding it. And you might not even know it's there. You might just be digging through garbage, just hoping to find something interesting. That's my equivalent metaphor. It could be a false equivalent. So don't get too attached to it. And I'd say the people who actually hack their servers to leak data, that's like breaking into someone's house to steal documents. So I don't know how legitimate legally that is, but in an ethical sense, I would stand by those equivalences. So when it comes to the DMCA and copyright, I don't know how legal this actually is. Like, it might not be covered under the DMCA because it's there. It's not a trade secret. And if they registered it as a trade secret, well, they kind of fucked up by putting it in a publicly available build. And the whole trade secret thing is something that came up with the Subpoena case. It's not coming up here, but I wouldn't be surprised if they invoke trade secrets. But the thing is, you have to register a trade secret as a trade secret. I'm not sure if you have to reveal the trade secret in the documentation as part of registering it. I would imagine not. Otherwise, that works against it being secret. But I'll use this same example again. I hope no one's getting too tired of it. Coca-Cola and their formula. No one knows it because it's registered as a trade secret. It's not a patent. It's not a copyright. It's actually registered as a trade secret, which gives it different legal protections than a copyright or a patent. So if this leak in question were an actual trade secret someone had to hack to get a hold of, I'd be like, no, you're in the wrong. But that's not the case. We've got a case here where what's happened is that they've data mined stuff that's in a publicly available build. It's right there. If you own the game, It's on your PC now, assuming it's installed, of course. But if you have an installed legal copy, you legally own that data. Well, at least in the modern sense of owning things, because we don't really own our software anymore, apparently. Well, anyways, that's not what we're here to talk about. Anyways, the point is, you have that data on your PC if you bought the game and have it installed. And it requires nothing to take anything or access anything from Activision servers or their private anything. It's publicly available, or at least as publicly available as a purchasable game that's also easily pirated. I think there's a pirated version by now. Anyways, the point is, it's easy to acquire. Even if it's might be an illegal acquisition, it's easily acquired. It's not like there's lock and keys besides DRM, but then if you buy it and own it, that lock is opened. So it will be very interesting if this goes to court and gets argued, because I wouldn't be surprised if they wind up arguing similar arguments to what I am, where it's like, well, it was right there for anyone to find. I don't know how much that matters. Anyways, so let's table that for a minute, because we should be moving on and not getting too stuck on anything. They've been on a tear taking stuff down. Withheld in response to a report from the copyright holder for College VC. I'm not sure how to pronounce that. Apparently, the dude's deleted tweet was quoted in the Gizmodo article. Oh man, I got this all out of order, didn't I? So the Torrent Freak article is pretty good. Just in general, has another link to a video Activision took down based on copyright. I'm not sure if copyright really properly applies. So Assyrian2410 has been suspended from Reddit over these leaks because of Activision. Presumably because of Activision. I don't know who else it would be. Yeah, so we'll take a look at the subpoena, which is interesting, because it mentions the Reddit user's username and the link to the now taken down Reddit post. But, whoa, what the hell did I just do there? Oh, weird. Anyways, just making sure. Yeah, so same. Just, it seems like just a more filled out version of the same document. And same kind of thing, like they're going after Reddit to find the guy's name, but we'll go back to this. We have a precedent on that, so probably not, and they should probably know better. Like, it makes it feel like they're trying to bully the guy, basically, and they're trying to intimidate him with legality, which, you know, with how expensive legal battles can be, and these companies having money for expensive, well-reputed lawyers and all that, it's like, it comes across as intimidation and bullying, because it's like, how in the hell is this guy going to fight back on an even footing? It says deleted their account, but apparently from the reporting, this person hasn't, and it's been suspended. But yeah, so you can see they've been on a tear taking stuff down, and that's the point of this. But it's inconsistent. This guy's been leaking all sorts of stuff. He's come up in the leaks. I linked to this account I came to this account because it was linked in one of the articles. So, you know, why are they picking on the one guy but not picking on this guy? It's the inconsistency. Like, if they were just all out wiping everything and nothing was being allowed and they were taking everything down, at least that would be fair. Like, when it's unfair like this and they're picking on specific people for unknown reasons, it's like, okay, what? And I do use the term picking on because, again, this comes across as if they're bullying and intimidating people with legality. So yeah, I mean, like, this video survived. Like, the inconsistency with which videos are still up and which ones were taken down is very interesting. It's quite possible that when they first realized what was going on, they just started taking stuff down, and then they might have realized, oh shit, it's too late now. There's no point in this, or maybe they realize they're actually working against their own PR by doing this, and that's the thing. They're working against themselves. They're shooting themselves in the foot. No pun intended. Well, the dude's got a pistol on the video. But yeah, they're shooting themselves in the foot. Like, they can't stop this. Like, look at the YouTube search for Call of Duty Warzone. Too late. If anything, they confirmed the leak by getting all pissed off about it. Like, if they had wanted us to not realize that the leak was legit, they should have not done or said a damn thing, because then no one would have been sure. But when you go getting mad at people, trying to taking down their stuff under DMCA claims, whether they're legit or not, and issuing subpoenas against Reddit as a company to get their ID when there's a precedent that says they're probably not going to be able to. Yeah, it's like, what are you guys doing? Are you trying to make your PR even worse? Like, it's bad enough with the Blizzard stuff, with Activision-Blizzard. They're the same company. I've got a video eventually coming on all the history of Activision-Blizzard and how we got to all this stuff. But yeah, they're effectively the same company, even though they're technically allowed to do their own thing, but they're together. So yeah, it's just like, man, Activision, Blizzard, you guys are not helping yourself with this stuff. Like, and I get wanting to protect your IP. Don't get me wrong. I totally understand that. And protecting actual trade secrets that are actually trade secrets. But these ain't no trade secrets. I mean, maybe you could actually legally get some of this stuff registered as a trade secret, but it'd just be like, really? It's not that secret. It's not that big a deal. Like, it's not like the Coca-Cola formula where your whole business will get ruined if people know how to replicate the formula, or potentially ruined. So that's the thing. The Coca-Cola one makes sense to have as a trade secret, because if people can replicate their exact formula, they're going to, and then they don't have an edge in business. But I mean, anyone can make a battle royale. No one's trying to copy Call of Duty's or do a battle royale like they are, and kind of battle royale is actually maybe kind of on its way out by now. So, in the context of the video game meta, it's like, you guys aren't protecting anything. I don't see how they're protecting their IP by doing this. If anything, they're hurting their PR and reputation with customers by doing this. And it's a very disturbing trend. And it's very concerning and worrisome to me, because even if this stuff is legal, even if it's 100% legal, it's unethical. Or at least in this case, it's unethical. With some of the other ones, if that's the thing, where the ethical line is drawn is like the example I was talking about before. Is it easily accessible, or is it under lock and key in a literal or metaphorical sense? If it's in a publicly available build, then it's not under lock and key. Unless maybe it's encrypted. That could maybe argue if it's encrypted, that could count as lock and key, but yeah, there could be an argument there. I'm not sure what's going on encryption-wise, but I still maintain if they leave it in a publicly available build that they let us download, that's part of the game we install and play, you can't get too mad if we data mine. Like, they should know we're going to data mine, or at least data miners data mine everything they can data mine. That's what they do. If they know this, it is illogical to leave this content in the game, because, well, if data miners are going to data mine, why would you leave content in the game? You don't have to for them to find. It doesn't make sense to me. Like it just doesn't make sense. And they don't have to leave this content in the game. They could be doing it to try and reduce download size when they do release the full content. That would make sense to me, to add little bits and pieces. But what's more likely is maybe a bit of laziness, in the sense that they're putting the stuff together, then they have to compile a build to ship out as the next patch. But they've been working on the new stuff, and that's kind of still in the build that's being sent out as part of the patch, and then it takes a whole bunch of work to remove all that stuff. So they're just not doing that extra work to remove it, or not doing their build process in a way that separates the coming content from the current content, so that coming content doesn't wind up in a current build. And it just, I have a hard time with going after people like this when they're not really doing anything ethically wrong or harmful. It'd be harmful or ethically wrong if they were hacking servers or something upon that level to get this information and leak it, but they're not. At least not in this case. Perhaps in some of the previous examples, like Submotto or the Epic Game or Fortnite stuff, maybe there was. I think with Submotto it was, but he was sharing information that had already been leaked, which is its own conversation. And if anything, I want to most focus on how sketchy and concerning this is, because it really, if this precedent doesn't get what's the word, set back or countered. So if this carries on as a precedent, I think it's bad news for everyone, because slippery slope can be a fallacy, but it's not always a fallacy. There are very real slippery slopes. Some fallacies are not always fallacies. Some fallacies are contextual. So slippery slope, yes, it can be a fallacy, but I think this is a case where we do have to be worried about a slippery slope, where, I can't help. Yeah, it might be silly, but the classic give a mouse a cookie and it's going to ask for a glass of milk. Although that was a cute little child's book, it does kind of make a commentary on something about human nature, in that if you let people go down a road, we're going to keep going down it unless there's something that prevents us from doing it. It's kind of a human thing. If we don't get a negative reaction or consequence, or a significant enough one, to say what you're doing is negative and harmful, people are generally going to keep doing it unless they realize it is negative and harmful. We could talk about more on that another time, but what I'm getting at is these companies, if they're allowed to abuse the DMCA system, or if the DMCA is just not that good and leaves it open to abuse in the sense of just it wasn't well done and didn't cover situations like this or whatever, if they're allowed to do it, they're going to keep on doing it, and if they keep on doing it, they're going to do it more. And it's like, well, how far will this go? Will they start? I mean, there's already been all sorts of issues with DMCA takedowns being abused with gaming channels for just content companies don't like, and all sorts of stuff. But now with this whole aspect of like, oh, we can get away with all this legal stuff under the DMCA when it comes to leaks, it's like, I don't know about this. I don't think I like where this is going. So, like I'm fond of saying, we're kind of going to have to wait and see what happens. But, I should have had a video ready for you guys or something. Didn't mean to be stuck on one screen for so long. It's very concerning to me, especially with the previous history with Submotto, where they were sending private investigators to basically harass him and shake him down, which is just unnecessary and inappropriate. There's no reason they needed to do that. None at all. And I wouldn't be surprised if maybe some private investigators might have shown up at some of the people involved with these leaks. That's pure speculation. I'm not saying it's happened. I'm just saying I wouldn't be surprised if it has. Or if it does. Because, I wouldn't be surprised if they're like, oh, well, if Take-Two can get away with that, then we can too. And that might not be what they're outright saying or thinking, but that's kind of the thought process behind it, is like, oh, they got away with that? We can do that too if they can do it. And that's kind of how precedents start. Even if they're not legal precedents, sometimes it's a like cultural or business precedent where it's like, oh, wait, we can do this? So I think they might be having we can do this moment where they're like, oh shit, we can use the DMCA to go after leakers? And it's like, oh, no, guys. Even if you can, don't. You're shooting yourselves in the foot. People are going to hate you over this. Even if you're in the legal right, people are going to be very upset over this stuff. I know I'm very unimpressed by it. I kind of wish I hadn't bought Call of Duty now, to be honest, because, I ain't paying money for Borderlands 3, I'll tell you that. I got a free copy because of a promo, and I ain't going to buy it over the Submotto thing. I'll play it free, but I ain't paying a dime for that game. And only because of an AMD promotion do I own a free copy. Otherwise, I wouldn't own the game. And I'll eventually get to Borderlands 3 just because I should know more about Borderlands because it's such a big thing. Never interests me. Anyways, not the point. Point is, like, it's changed and altered my purchasing decisions. I was going to eventually, when I got around to catching up with the previous two games, actually buy Borderlands 3. Now I'm not. Now I'm sticking to the free version. And if I like a game, I'll buy it, even if I got a free version to get started on. I've got a real big thing where if I really like a game, I will make sure I buy it at least once to support it, because they don't make money if we don't buy their games, which works both ways. They don't sell anything if we don't buy it. Although I'm not trying to say boycott. That's become a dirty word in gaming because they've never really worked. But just the whole thing, if they piss people off, people will eventually stop buying their products. And it could just be a long, slow burn before they really notice it. But with Activision specifically, they are down that road. That is without doubt. Activision, Blizzard, but collectively, they're going down the road where people are going to start getting really upset about them and stop buying their games. And I wonder how much they might have noticed it already. It's, like I said, it's already affected my purchasing decisions regarding certain publishers and games, and it will continue to in the future. And if there is a game associated with this kind of shenanigans, unless it's clearly a case where the leaker was actually in the ethical and legal wrong collectively combined, where it really was, which doesn't seem to be happening really. So it's, I don't just support leakers because they're leaking. They still have to be ethical and within the law, giving caveats for, civil disobedience. Yeah, my brain sometimes. So civil disobedience can be a factor. We're not going to talk too much about that. If you're not familiar with the term, please Google it. It's very important to be aware of what civil disobedience is. But there can be potentially a component of civil disobedience being like, well, the law is wrong, so we're going to just do the right thing. But I'm not saying this is the case. I'm just making an allowance for it when it comes to, on a case-by-case judgment, was this person in the legal and or ethical right or in the legal and or ethical wrong, with ethics always taking precedence over legality, because legality doesn't always reflect upon what is objectively ethical. Anyways, I could say a lot about this. We're coming up on that half-hour mark. There's a lot to this one, so it's okay. It went a little bit longer than I'd prefer. This is some crazy stuff. I'm really hoping there's more backlash to convince companies this is a bad idea to do unless the person leaking is clearly in the ethical and legal wrong. And if it's anything like this, where it's data mining in a publicly released build, leave people alone. Oh, I forgot. Nintendo. Nintendo's been going after leakers too. I forgot to include that. So add Nintendo to the list of companies that have been poopy towards leakers over DMCA stuff. I should have included the links. But yes, it just came to my memory. Nintendo's had something too, but we're a little bit late to go into that, but feel free to Google it. I'll try and remember to throw a link in the description with the sources too, just to add that in. But I can't believe I forgot about Nintendo dipping their toes in this too. I really hope these companies get their shit together and realize they're just going to create problems for themselves if they continue doing this. Even if it's legally correct, it's ethically not, at least in these circumstances. And again, I just want to reiterate, it's, are they violating a secure, locked space, or is it something that's available that we've purchased or is put out in public, or someone else has leaked, but the person who's not leaked it, who's just reporting on the leak, is getting in trouble when they should be going after the actual leaker, as in the Subpoena case. Anyways, what do you think? Do you think Activision is in the right or wrong here, legally and or ethically? Do you have any commentary on the legal aspects of copyright, and maybe fill in some of my gaps there? Again, I'm not a lawyer. I don't know a lot. I'm still learning a lot about copyright and fair use. And what do you think about the previous cases with Subpoena and Fortnite and Nintendo? Are you afraid this is going to be a slippery slope? What are your concerns? I want to hear from you. Let's have some discussion in the comments, or you can hit me up on Twitter or on the live streams, or on the Facebook page. Lots of places you can start that conversation, but please preferably in the YouTube comments if you can. And of course, as always, gotta show my own stuff out. Subscribe if you like my content. Hit the thumbs up if you like the content, and the notifications button, the little bell icon there. But if you give me a thumbs down, let me know in the comments what I can do to flip that around to a thumbs up. I'm always looking to get better and improve as much as I can, and your feedback is very important to help me do that. And I know I'm got a long ways to go to catch up to some of the other content creators production quality wise, but gotta start from somewheres. Oh yes, the Patreon and GoFundMe, those are finally flanged up. I do plan to further update them. There's the written sections need a bit more updating, but I didn't want to delay flanging them up too much longer because I need to make some money from this stuff. I don't really have any other income right now, disability and all that. Bit of a story there for another time. Or ask me on Twitter or whatever if you want to know more. Or some of the information's in the descriptions and write-ups on the GoFundMe and Patreon. There will be videos coming to add more to that too, specific for the Patreon and GoFundMe. Anyways, point is, if you want to support me, or support me and Intoxicus Gaming and my two kitties, the Patreon's the best way to support me and the kitties. If you want to support specifically Intoxicus Gaming, then please use the GoFundMe, because the GoFundMe is specifically only for Intoxicus Gaming. Any GoFundMe fees only go towards making the channel better. The Patreon's more just a general support me and the kitties thing. The Patreon's more specific to the channel. Also, you can hit up the if you want donate directly, there's the PayPal. I'll flange that up too, so there's an easy link for it. And I think that about covers it all. Yeah, I think that's about it. Just gotta make sure that outro music is ready to go. And as always, have a good one, and remember to bring a towel. Bye.